And today we are just going to continue the build. And for everybody that doesn't know, I'm Nuno Tavares. So I run a marketing agencies and we do marketing coaching. And I have my lovely assistant and partner. I always feel like you're like the Vanna White of like, now really dating ourselves at this point in time. But he's going to go over kind of what we've been doing. We've been rebuilding a church website that's been a little bit outdated. And we're really just kind of getting into like the whole build out stage. Last week we built out the web. We started building out the homepage. This week we're going to continue on building out the rest of the pages, and we'll go from there. So Andy, I'll just kind of turn it over to you, and we can go from there.
All right. Well, first of all, welcome everyone. So as you know, we've been working on this Miracle Missions Full Gospel Church website. So I'm going to share my screen and share it again. All right. Share. All right, and here's the site as we've been working on it. Now, last week we worked on the homepage. We added where we're going to be putting the live stream and the older videos. Just a little recap. We have some information on the story of the church and so forth, and a little information about the pastor, and then where people can do their donations and so forth, directions to where they're going to go. And we're going to work on the footer later. But now what we're going to do is we're going to start working off of these other pages that we want to add. And today is a bit of a copy-paste job. Today, and by the way, if anybody's wondering why my background's different, I'm in New Orleans on a family vacation, but I still have time to be with you. So one of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over these pages, and the information is already in here. And what we want to do is we want to basically take the information that's already here and renew it, revitalize it.
Yeah, I think it's just like basically just revitalizing a little bit and just making sure it's in the right places. Now, we're not copy experts, but the whole point of what we're trying to teach you is how to modify and kind of take what you have existing and kind of build on it. And later on, you can always go back and fix the copy. So it's not like something that's super, super necessary as you're going through it. So you can always go back and you can always make adjustments later on. That's the cool thing about a website. It's a living target, and you can just kind of go back and constantly keep adjusting it. We do that with automations. We do that with this. We do that with sales. We do that with pretty much everything that we have inside the business.
Okay, so we're going to start building out our ministry. So what I'm going to do, very, very simply, I want to reuse my colors. I want to reuse my areas, but I'm still going to use the same theme the same base theme that I worked on for Divi. So I'm going to go, I believe we made a page for our ministry. And it's a very plain page. It hasn't been used in Divi. So all you got to do is click on this Enable Visual Builder. And it's going to load up the Divi interface.
Layout, whatever you want to call it.
So in the pre-made layout, since we're using one of the pre-made layouts, I'm going to be going back to the one that I used before, since it already has the colors that I want to use and so forth in there. Actually, if I just go over here and I type in wedding, it should come right up. Okay. And hold on just a second. There we go. And these are the areas. So what I'm going to look for is, I believe I have a details page here. That should be good for ministry. That's the home page. Okay, let's see here.
Would it be like more the about page if we were really thinking about the ministry? Yeah, I would go with that one.
Yep. So this looks good. This is going to give me my base layout as I start putting it together. All right. So actually, hold on just 1 second. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to be using the about page. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to use this layout for this page. And what it's really going to do, I'm going to be changing the whole thing. It's just going to be giving me the colors that I'm looking for. As that's loading up, I'm going to go into their old site and go to their ministry, our ministry right here on the left-hand side. And I'm just going to start pulling information right here. So it's going to be probably now, when I'm looking at this Lucid chart, I'm not, if we go to our ministry and they have a single page for it, but it's not a lot of information here. And I don't have the pictures for these people. So I'm going to be putting fake pictures in there for now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to be putting multiple things that are on this on the same page. This doesn't mean that they're an individual page. This is what's in the section for our ministry. Sorry,
Yeah. Now
continue.
the cool thing is, like, I literally built a funnel today. It took me about all of 30 minutes. What was great is we had copy, and then we just had to search for the images to fill in. So sometimes if you're running into a scenario where you're like, oh, I don't have any image, just put in a filler image, and you can always go back
Right.
and change it. So
Absolutely.
don't. Sometimes people spend so much time on like picking the exact image and the exact color, and they just don't get close to launching. So we just want to get
Right.
something a little closer to what we're trying to do to give the person, when we meet with the client, a general idea. Hey, I need a picture like this. I need a picture like that. And like if we give them
Exactly.
examples, it's really easy for them to fill in.
So I'm just reusing the same imagery that I used before when it comes to, actually, you know what? I want to take a look at the site as I'm building it in the correct dimension, like I always do in laptop. Just a little longer to make it easier on myself. Okay. So I'm reusing the same imagery that I used before on the homepage. We might switch that later. And then we have the information on what right now is the bride and groom, but we're about to change this to be the other people who are part of their mission. So if I go to the old site, I've got a little intro copy here. Okay. This is what we welcome you to participate in. Okay. So we have all these different groups. So we're just gonna, this is literally a copy paste job. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll do 3, 3, and 1 on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this very simply. I'm going to make these columns 3 columns. Ooh, that did not work out like I planned. Hold on just 1 sec. I'm going to have to redo the whole way this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the column here and change my spacing. No wonder. So oftentimes when you get one of these off-the-shelf designs, it's got a lot of stuff that you are not interested in, and that's something that I've got to fix. So I'm going to delete this. We're getting rid of the bride. There we go, 3. Perfect. So now I have 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to do another row of this. And then we're going to do 1 more. But there's only 7. There's not 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete this one, and I'm going to delete that one. And that way I have a nice 7 right there. And then I'm going to switch this image to be some kind of avatar. So I'll probably just, if we look at what's in here, we have because this will probably want to have pictures of these people who are in there. So let me see, just do a group. I'll just do a group shot that I can find on my elements. So, okay, church team. See if I can find something here. This will be perfect. I don't really want to have, when I'm showing a picture and I'm just need a concept, if I can sometimes not show faces, it can work really well because I want a concept, and that way they know what to give to me. So I'm going to pull in this image. Okay. And I'm going to resize this on the background. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see that. And I'm just waiting for it to download now.
Yeah, like I said, we do this more often than not. I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, and I think I mentioned this in the last episode, that whenever we work with a client, the odds of them having images and everything ready is like zilch. So,
Yeah.
And even if they do, they have like 4 images, and you got to build a whole entire website off of 4. So leveraging, like, I think we use Elvato elements. We love them. They actually have a great selection. I think you've been with them, Andy, for what, like close to a couple of years now, right?
About, I believe, like since the product came out, which is about 4 years ago, it cost me like $60 a month to basically have all the images that I need. So yeah,
and it comes with copyright, like kind of like just documentation.
Yeah, it covers everything.
Sometimes you might need and everything else. Well, ironically enough, one of the musics, it was so funny. Like, well, now that we're posting on YouTube, like one of the music was copyrighted, so they put a copyright claim in one of our musics towards the end. So we had to like trim out the area, like, I mean, if you have the rights to music, which I believe we did, you can put in an appeal, and they'll as long as you can show the rights, then you're good to go. But sometimes it's not even worth the hassle of like going back and forth. So you just trim out the area and you're good to go. And it goes likewise when you're building something out like this too.
Well, okay. So what I'm going to do to make my life a little easier, I can copy and paste, but I'm uploading this new image. And as you can see, that's going to be the image for the area. And I'm going to make this one pixel perfect and then repeat it again. I just wanted to show you how I can move very quickly in this space. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this third row. Now I have people in here, and I'm going to go back to Miracle Mission, Devotion and Praise Team. Okay. And I just changed this right here. And that's a little large, so I want to change the design there because it's probably going to happen again. So if I go into title text and I change the space on that just a little bissel. Now I want to make sure I also take care of the line height. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Okay, that's going to work a lot better. I still think that's a little big, so I'm going to bring it. There we go. And I'm going to bold this. Give it a little bit more juice. A little bit more juice than that. Oh, it's not pushing it out there. Okay, so I'll play with that a little bit later on, but I'm gonna just hit the okay, and this is where I'll put the information on the people who are on that team. Okay, and I'm sure that we will tell them to just give us pictures of the people that are listed here. Okay, and then I'm just gonna clone this a bunch of times. So what I do is I delete these columns and I just pop. There, I have it 3 times. And now I'm gonna just add these. So I go with Women's Ministry. Actually, I'm just gonna pull the name. And a lot of this stuff, Nuno, is literally done at the time. I'm like kind of like an artist would do. You're kind of like you're kind of going with the flow. Usually I'm not narrating it, and I'm rocking out to some music or anything that kind of gets
the thing
the
of it, you
juices
got to
flowing.
think of it too, right? A lot of the people that we're going to be talking to, either solopreneurs or doing this, they don't have a full-fledged web design team and everything else. So that's kind of the point, right? So with most companies, like the larger companies, they have like a design department, then they have a copy department, a copy for writing, and then they have like an ads department and everything else. When you're kind of just like in the marketing world and you're still a boutique kind of company, you're doing a lot of this with yourself or a junior designer, or maybe even an additional designer. The copy is usually hired third party, or usually have a copy person on hand, and it's a very back and forth fluid environment. That gets put through we have a system called Clickup. We'll get into that organization a little bit later. But for this kind of case, we're just showing you exactly how we're going about the process. So everybody just gets a general idea of what's involved and what it takes and how complex and non-complex it can be, depending on your comfort level with tech.
So what like I said, I'm just doing the copying and pasting right here. Should be done in just a second. And then this, I guess you would call it topper paragraph or whatever, is going to go above it when I'm done. So I'm going to just start wrapping this up. Okay, youth ministry. Okay. And literally, it's as simple as this, because then you can kind of discuss, once you get all their, what you're doing in effect by taking all their old copy and putting it in the fresh look, is you're kind of showing them, all right, these are the things you're obviously missing. And where it's missing, I put Latin and stuff like that, which gives them an idea of what they need to write for me, so that we can get them exactly what they're looking for. So almost done here. And I want to make one more line. I'm going to get rid of this one. Get rid of that one. Ooh, there we go. Paste. Okay, and then we'll put this here. Text. Paste it right here. And that's going to format just the way we want to. And then I want to add that paragraph as I was mentioning right above there. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to make another row, just a single row. I'm actually going to put text in there. Actually, hold on a moment. I might have text. Perfect. I'm going to repeat this text. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to reuse it. This way I don't have to reformat. It is always preferable to just copy something so that you don't have to retype in all the styling.
That
So if
alone
you
is like
need,
$1 million golden nugget because like
right.
I can't even tell you how much time that saved. I just did one today and like this is what happened.
So I'm just kind of adjusting just by the look and feel. Okay, great. Now I can grab this. So now we have translated this page into our new design. If I paste this information here, our mission, actually, you know what? Could I? Yeah, I don't even think I need that second line there. I'm going to get rid of this subtitle. It doesn't need to go there. Now I've got a nice base page. I'm going to leave this information here because I'm going to reuse it. I don't need the gallery. So, and now from the information that was on this page, I was able to translate it into this, which is a nice, much more fluid look and feel. And it's already ready to go. And now I can see more stuff that I can put on that page. So if I go into the solution chart, now we have our mission. Now those were I guess we could put our pastors in there, or should that be its own new
No,
thing?
I think we can probably put it in there. I wouldn't go further out than there. I would probably put our mission and then our pastors and then our staff. I think we discussed that at one point in time.
Yeah, okay. So now all I got to do is clone this area. So let's do that now. So our mission, our pastors. Okay, well, actually, we just have this and he's getting his own page. So I'm not going to do that on here, but I will put our staff. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's a basic section, just informational. So this is a little bit of an easier copy pasting, but we're going to make 3 columns instead of this one long column. So all I got to do is go over here. I'm going to clone this bad boy right here. Okay, so as you can see, it's repeated. I'm going to get rid of 2 of these columns. Bang, bang. Okay. And I'm going to, you know what? Yeah, that's the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to put a little, yeah, there we go. I'm going to grab this. Got to clone it first. Almost forgot. I like that background music, dude.
Always, it's the chill one. It happens to you.
Yeah. It's just nice and relaxed. Okay. Now this is going as H1. So the way to change this from an H1, which I don't want, because you can only have one H1 on the page, is I just click H2 and H2. Actually, no, I have to go into the content. I'm going to grab this text. I'm going to change this to an H2. I'm going to go into the design. I'm going to go to H1. I'm going to copy heading to, oh, no, that's, okay, so I just kind of got to remember this. Comforta, regular. So let's find that. Comforta, regular. I'm going to center this. It's a little small, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, but that's going to be an H2, which is going to make a lot more sense. And it's obviously not how we met. It's going to be our staff. Just type that in right here. Then I'm going to go to Miracle Mission. I'm going to grab this little intro paragraph right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Paste that there. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this information. The board. Actually, I'm going to do 1 above and 2 below. Okay, so how do I do that? I'm going to clone this. I'm going to go over here and get rid of this. Get rid of this one. Okay, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get rid of the image because I don't need it. Perfect. And then with the design, I'm going to take the text. I'm going to center everything. Lovely. Content, text. And now I just got to put that information in there. So take the board information. And then I go over here and I put in the text information. Now this looks like it's 2 columns. So there might be another way that I want to do this. I need to think on this for a minute, Nuno.
Yeah, and that's fine. And just so everybody understands, like what I've been doing is like, so Andy and I are working in pretty good as a team. So what I'm doing in the back end, and not necessarily with this project, is basically I'm going into YouTube and just making sure that our live stream is working. All the buttons are flashing. We don't look pixelated inside of Facebook. It kind of goes back and forth quite a bit.
He's not just
Yeah, that happened last week. So we're constantly going back and forth in a true website design kind of like way that we are doing this, and you're going to see it towards the later part of the videos. Andy works on the front end. I work pretty much on the back end. So I'll be connecting all the little doohickeys and buttons and things to make everything work pretty seamlessly and making a business in the box afterwards. So between all this, and I also do some design, but Andy's it happens to be his forefront. So 2 people doing the same task in any business is not usually a good thing. And Andy and I have 2 very different design ways. He's a little bit more experienced. So he has like a very big developer background where I am like, I just kind of plug and play and go as I feel. So I'm a little bit more disorganized in the way I build. So it just works out him doing this better. And we tried a different bunch of scenarios, and we've realized that staying in your own lanes when you're in a partnership is probably by far one of the best advices anyone can do. Yeah.
So I am actually just going to pull in. So what I've done, Nuno, so they're using a table here. Now, I don't want to use a table because a table is so.
It's a pain in the butt. You can just say for what it is. It is
2005. It's very 2005. So if you have tables on your website, you really want to try to not do that. So unfortunately, the easiest way for me to copy and paste this is to literally go one by one and type this information in here. So unfortunately, that's how I'm going to need to do it. There may be other ways that I could do it, but I'm kind of going for speed a little here. So hold on just a minute. There we go. Okay. And actually, you know what, Nuno? I think I could do a trick. I think I can maybe do a trick. Let me think here for a second. If I can. Okay, so what we're always trying to do is find faster ways to work. And many of you might have Google Drive on your. Now, this may not work. By the way, but I'm always looking for a different way to paste my information in so I can just get the raw data without the extra code from a website. So I will paste this information in. There we go. This way I can format it in here just as I just want the raw data. I don't want to go back and forth and try to pull out all the garbage here. So if I look here, yep, there we go. Now I can go in here and just kind of pull in this data. I do this all the time because I'm trying to get it as raw as possible because you don't know who built their whenever this website was built, and it wasn't built recently, you don't know what kind of information, what kind of, for lack of a better word, crap, what I call crap code that doesn't work anymore. So I want to get the purest form of the information. So that's what I'm doing now. And you can use just off-the-shelf products. Don't try to not have the need to always buy the latest program. There's often stuff that you've already have that you can use to format all your stuff. So now I have the pure data right there, and I can go here. I can paste this here, perfect. And now I just have to bold it where I want to bold it. That's going to work a lot better. We have, sometimes you feel, and Nuno can speak to this for a moment, that you want to buy everything off the shelf the moment that you see it.
I have an addiction to buying courses and fancy new things, and like on flashy new things, I should say, but not what you would expect. Not like the nicest.
Not drugs or alcohol.
Yeah, not alcohol, not anything of that sort. But if I see a course and it's like a brand new thing that I want to learn,
or a program,
I will buy like 4 of the same courses, but in like different people teaching it. It's like kind of a problem. I think I have to go to like some kind of like meeting for it or something.
They need a marketing therapy.
Yeah, like course buying therapy is like, yeah, to your point. I maybe we should create like a group.
Oh, maybe that's another video series. Okay, so what I'm doing is, as you can see, I'm doing the layout for our staff, and now I've got these areas here. So now I'm going to go back into the old site. Okay, let's see. Copy. And folks, this is the boring part of a website. Just pulling out this information as best as you can.
But you're learning like insider secrets. This is stuff that you would have to like figure out after years of like understanding like, you know, web design and code. And we just literally in like 2 minutes showed you something that probably, Andy, how long did it take you to learn this, or how far along were you when you finally learned this little trick?
Well, I years.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, Nuno, my first website, my wife will contest, took me, I'll tell the story, actually. Maybe it'd be good for any young web designers watching. So back in the old days, I was working at a company called RGA, which is still around, and I got to work on the original IBM website. But I was like, I had nothing to do. I was just bored sitting there because most of the time I was what's called a production assistant, and I was making nothing, and literally just a kid right out of school. And they sat me down, and I had nothing to do, and they were awash with money, so they were giving people jobs left and right. And this is like the first .com bubble, and I sat there teaching myself how to be a designer. And my father worked for a company that's still around, who I still built, who I, by the way, 20 years later, still have their site, called Digitize Inc. You go check it out. I actually need to redo their site again. It needs a little love. Anyway, their site was, you know what their site was before I looked at it, Nuno? Tell me what their site was.
I don't know. Oh,
Hot
what kind
garbage.
There we go. You want me to use hot chat, hot garbage, right there.
Right.
It was hot garbage. We even have the hot garbage streamer.
Yeah.
He didn't get
So story time with Andy as he's building the sound. So their site was literally hot garbage. So I took their site, and I had, like I said, nothing to do. So while I was working at that company, and I taught myself how to be a designer, a developer. And by teaching on somebody else's time, which, I can't get fired from there. It was 20 years ago. Now, on somebody else's time, I taught myself how to become a designer. It took me 6 months to build my first website. A website now that I can build in a day. If I was just working on this website, had the music blaring, my wife DJs for me sometimes when I'm working, literally, and I can sit there with a big cup of coffee and get the website done in a day if I need to. You don't want to, it's not going to be the greatest design in the world. But the secret is, as you learn these tricks, it's not the time you're selling when you're working for yourself. It's the knowledge of those years of sitting there trying to figure out how to design. That's what people are paying you for. They're not paying for you to work 7 hours a day. They're working for you for all that backup knowledge that I and Nuno and the people that we work with have. So that's my little rant there as I build out this last page. This last information on this page. Okay, so there we go. Wonderful.
Yeah, and it goes now, to show you, so the first website that I designed was, holy smokes, I think I charged, and it was really underpriced. I didn't know what I was doing. I drove all the way to New York, and just between the tolls going in and out, I probably only made like $200 if that. And what I'm telling you, it was the hardest website because the client was so tough. But I had decent experience. And like Andy, I was just teaching myself design and just kind of building it out. And man, I'll remember, I definitely went in the negatives just pulling out this site. And from where I was and where I started to where it is now, there was a lot of trial and errors that had to be figured out. But it was interesting to say the least. So, I mean, but it was just design is in general in marketing. You'll learn that there's always a new trend. There's always something that you have to do. So updating sites is like a more common thing than anything else. If all of a sudden, like, there's just a new trend going on, and you need to stay up with the times. Like sometimes you need to kind of convert the site to whatever's like kind of really happening now. So this is an ongoing thing. This doesn't really stop. What would you say, every 2 to 3 years is really a good time to like update a site?
Just about, absolutely. And it doesn't have to be a wholesale new design. It can be just a new look and feel, just to freshen up. If you had a showroom, you would do the same thing. Every 6 months, you would change your inventory. If a person was
Oh yeah,
walking
that's a good.
into your
That's a good
store,
analogy, like a showroom.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. I mean,
You
if you
wouldn't show
think
the
about
same
it,
car every 2 years. If you go to our dealer, they always got the
perfect
new year
example.
model like showing, and that's what you're tending to buy. So it's the same process.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's like if you ever walk past a store in the mall, their windows are always changing. You got to think that you're laying out your shingle. You got to change your look and feel, or else it can get stale. It can get boring. So let's see. Okay, so now I have this information in here. I've got our mission. I've got our staff. Let's see what else we can pull out of this section. Our services, I think, should be its own thing because it really doesn't deal with what they have. So we have this. The pastor's gonna be his own page. Our staff, our new home will be its own page. It has nothing to do with what I'm showing there. Community and jobs. So those are all going to be different. So we're going to build those out now. And then I also want to, like I said, I want to have our services. Oop. Hold on.
But you see what's kind of just going on. We're just basically putting this in a new skin. So, and just making it a little bit more readable and easy for people to navigate. And I think Andy brought a great point. I think it was 2 episodes ago where he said, hey, like, you got to think about the staff, not the staff, but the customer that they're serving. It's probably going to be a good potential older crowd. So we have to almost design the site where an older person can navigate through it as easily. And not only that, but on their phone. So it's something to think about as you're building these things out.
Absolutely. So what I'm doing really quickly, just so you know, and I'm doing this in my head as I go along, is I know that my next page is I need to build out the pastor's page. So what I'm doing is I'm just deleting everything that I don't need on this page anymore. And then I'm going to make the pastor page. And I'm going to pull it right from there. There. Oop, cancel. All right. Let me make sure I save this. Always be saving.
Always be saving.
And
yeah, that's
always.
You know what we got to do?
Uh-oh.
Got to add a chat here. Always
be awesome. Okay, and I'm going to exit this page. Beautiful. Our mission. What'd you put up in here? I don't see anything.
You don't see the little tag coming in? It says always be saving.
I don't see. It's not coming up. I don't see it.
That's so funny. You don't see it, but yeah, it's definitely there.
Okay. I'll take your word. So now we have our ministry page, which has our mission on it, and it has our staff. So now I'm going to add a page for the pastor. Okay. And let's see how they have it in here. So our pastor. Okay. Our pastor. Okay. I'm going to, believe it or not, just publish this page. Okay. And then I'm going to use the Divi builder and build it on the front end. Now, in my mind, I'm making all these little micro decisions on exactly how I want to lay it out. And I already know, based on reusing the same template over and over again, that I can just keep going with it. So watch this.
So I got a question for you, Andy. When would be a good time for you to just take the page you created and use one of the ones that we already did?
Good question. When I've built up a bank of enough pages that have different layouts, because I saw something in here, Nuno, that I want to show you. I know
you wanted to use the design that was already there. Got it. Okay.
I want to see how this is. This is going to be perfect for the pastor. So I knew going in, oh, this is going to be the layout I want to use. So I'm going to delete basically everything that I know I'm not going to use. Okay. I'm going to get rid of that. Perfect. And this is going to be with the pastor's page. And I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, get rid of that. I'm going to change this to white. That way there's some differentiation. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. Now let's make this page the way it's supposed to be. So we're going to change the background image again. We're going to go over here. We're going to grab this one with the cross. Okay. Actually, I don't want to use parallax. Okay. Yeah, that's so much better. Okay. Design. And I'm going to change the content to our pastor, I believe. Actually, you know what? We're going to improve what they have. Our pastor. And as I go here, his name is Overseer Dr. James A. Lewis III. So I'm going to copy that. Actually, and I think I'm just going to put his name without Overseer because that's going to be in the paragraph below, but it's going to be our pastor with his name. Okay, and then I'm going to get rid of this information. Get rid of this information. And I'm going to take this content, the quote we already used on the homepage, so I'm not going to reuse that. But I'm going to take these two paragraphs. I'm going to paste that stuff in here. Okay, and then I'm going to play with the design after I get the information in there to kind of firm it all up. Digging this music now.
It's so funny. I barely hear it, and you hear it.
Yeah, well. Okay, let's see. Okay, and this is BI. There we go. As you can see, he's got that going on here. It's been bolded and italicized, so I did the same in case that's important to him. Okay. Now this image is not the right image. This is a weighing image, but more than anything, I want to put his image right here. I believe I downloaded it already. Yep, there we go. And even though it's pixelated, I know we're going to use something better later on. They'll supply me with a better one. But if I go, I bet you any amount of money, and I hope I don't lose money on this, but if I go into Google and I put his name in, and I bring up images, I bet you I will find other photos of him. See, there's one right here. Okay. Let's see where else. This looks like that's not exactly what I'm looking for. But if I go to Facebook, I'm looking for another photo to show them how we can use multiple photos. So I'm going into my Facebook page. You'll see all my comic book stuff. It's my wife over there. All right. Paste that in there. Here we go. That's him, obviously. So, oh, this is a great. Now you see, this is actually who we're working for, Tamara. Not working for, but she's a friend, and she's working with the congregation. So I'm actually going to grab one of these great pictures that they have on it. I love this picture. This is him with his family. I hope he's okay with us reusing this image because this is a gorgeous image. So I'm going to take it right from Facebook, downloading it, and then I'm going to grab one more image, and we're going to make this page oh so beautiful. Okay. Let's see as we go into his photos. Something with him in the church. Let's see. Oh, this is great. Something with an award. Yeah, so we'll use this. Okay, we're going to save this image. Two images that I can now add to the website and give it a little bit more juice. So, if I go over here, I'm going to change this image right here and put the image of him with the award. I'm going to upload this other one also for in a moment. Okay, so him with the award. So we've got these two. And then I'm going to add another one right here in the middle with him and his family. So it's going to be just a big fat image.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that, obviously the pastor's going to have some different images.
He might have.
They're pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah, so we want to do design, we want to do spacing. Actually, you know what, first, so that people can see what I'm doing in context. I'm adding a background image with him and his family. Okay, and then I want to make sure I work on the spacing so that it looks right. Spacing, let's see, add 100 to it. Okay, and just kind of move this until I get him and his family to be a bigger part of this page. Okay, and then I'm gonna go 300. There we go. Now I've got him and his family.
Nice.
Perfect. Now look how nice this is. Information, picture of him and his family. I think that's probably his beautiful bride. And then more information right here. And that's a proper pastor page. That's how you make a proper pastor page.
I mean, can we just go be the before and after? And actually, I think we're going to pause here today, Andy, just so then you can get back to vacation. But more, look at the difference, folks. Like, this is what we're talking about.
Basic information, and now look at the way we're representing who he is as a man, who he is as a pastor, what he does for his congregation. This is a better representation of who this person is. Taking one page, nobody's going to read this. It's just something somebody's actually going to want to get into.
And I love the family aspect. I hope he likes that part that we added, because I think that's very
absolutely.
Nice. Well,
all right,
folks,
so stop sharing.
Yeah, we're going to stop for today. And again, like I said, we want Andy to go back to his visit in New Orleans. If you've been following him on Facebook, he's been posting a lot of TikToks and getting it out there and just enjoying his family trip. So just stay tuned. We have more videos posting. On the bottom of this channel, you will also see that there's a bunch of links and resources for you guys, along with if you want to binge watch and try to get your own personal business online. There is a whole series. I think it's up to 7 videos now. We're adding some every week that you'll be able to binge watch and get your business fully online. And then if you ever want to touch back and just see how we're designing sites and we're getting these things up, this is the way to do it. So always look forward to seeing everybody, and we'll talk to everybody soon. All right. So thank you again, and Andy, enjoy your vacation.